Hi everyone, this is Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish. I hope you're well. Today we are making these fun and colourful kids soap party favours. So these are for a Super Mario themed birthday party. All of these soaps were made from Melt and Pour soap and these cookie cutters and stamps, which I bought online. This project is the May installment of this year's Stamped Soap Challenge. You can find all of the Stamped Soap Challenge projects in a special playlist on this YouTube channel. Now I have two different types of party favours here. First off, there's this one, which is shaped like Mario's head and stamped with an imprint of his face. And it was made using this stamp over here. And then I also have these circular bars here that contain an imprint of a Super Mario character. That mushroom one was made using this stamp over here. Today I'm going to show you how to make both types of party favor, so let's get started. Now I've chosen Super Mario as my party theme today, but I want to emphasize just how many different themes are available online, from popular cartoon characters to generic themes like cats and dogs and space and circus and sort of every party theme you can think of. You're bound to find something available. So go searching on Amazon, AliExpress, Temu and Etsy if you've got something specific in mind and see what you can find. Here are the Super Mario cookie molds that I am using today. I've got 8 different characters. Each mold consists of a cookie cutter and a cookie stamp. They fit together like that. But like I said today, I'm going to be using them not to make cookies, but to make soap. So I have Super Mario, and I have a Koopa, I have a star, I have another Mario, Paper Mario I've been told. That's a mushroom, a Goomba, again Mario, and I have this brick block as well. So all fun parts of the game that any fan of Super Mario will recognize. I'm going to start off by making my round soap party favors first. I've got this little soap mold here that holds about 2.5 ounce of soap. That's 70 grams. First of all, you've got to make sure that your stamps fit inside, obviously that the soap mold is big enough. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to weigh out enough clear soap to fill up each mold cavity halfway. So it's going to be like a 2-layered bar. So this is the first layer here, which I'm using a clear and ultra clear soap base. I'm not scenting it at this stage, just because I want this to remain clear, and sometimes adding some scent can make it go a little bit cloudy. I will put some fragrance in the second layer of my soap bars. I have my soap mold sitting on a tray, which is sitting on top of a kitchen scale, so I can evenly weigh out approximately 1.25 ounces or 35 grams into each cavity. I'm also spraying with isopropyl alcohol just to get rid of those surface bubbles. And I'm going to set that aside to firm up. While that's happening, I'm going to start on my second type of party favor. So I've separated the stamps from the cookie cutters. I just have the cookie cutters here. And I also have a large roll of resin tape or PET tape. So this is a silicone covered tape, and it's heat resistant and it's non-stick because of that silicone covering. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my cookie cutters to a piece of tape in order to seal the bottom so they can be used as a soap mold. So that's what I'm doing here. Just making sure that that tape is very firmly adhered to the surface of the cookie cutter and that there's no sort of wrinkles in the tape. Like I said, I want that cookie cutter adhered well so that no soap leaks out the bottom. And it doesn't take very long just to do all 8 of these. My daughter's helping me. That's the other hand you can see there off to the side. I've put a link in the description of this video about where you can buy your own resin tape. I know not everybody has access to it. That's why I've shown you the second way you can make party favors using a soap mold today. But if you can get resin tape, it's really awesome. Okay, so it's only been 15 minutes since I poured this soap. It's still a little bit warm, but it is set all the way through. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my cookie stamps to put an imprint on the surface of the soap. The soap surface is still a little bit soft, but I am using a hammer just to make sure that I get a nice even imprint. Let's take a look at that. There's our first star. How cool does that look? That's really great. So like I said, the surface of the soap is soft enough that I can sort of start pushing that stamp in with my fingers, but then I'm giving it a light tap all the way around and also on the handle with my hammer, just to make sure that all the lines of the image are embedded evenly into the surface of the soap, because that's what's going to give me a really great finish when I do the next step. So you'll notice that when it's time to pull the stamp away, I'm sort of easing it very carefully. It's not because it's hard to pull away, because the soap surface is still a little bit soft, I'm just sort of easing it out evenly, because I don't want to ruin the image by pulling it away, too roughly, basically. But it doesn't take very long at all just to quickly stamp these 4 images here into the surface of these soaps. There we go. I just sort of hold them up into the light so you can kind of see the impression. That looks pretty good. I'm really happy with those. They came out exactly as I was hoping. So that's really good. Okay, so the next step now is to paint the little grooves that make up the image of this soap. I'm using black mica today, but you can use any color you want. Gold always looks pretty cool, I think. But basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to make myself some mica paint by mixing mica and some isopropyl alcohol. I want my paint to be quite runny, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to use like an ultra fine paintbrush just to sort of touch the mica paint to the groove, and then hopefully that groove will fill up with all the mica paint, and I will have starting to appear the images of these Super Mario characters. I'll probably need to do 2 coats of this just to make sure that I have every little groove filled up enough, because if it's done too lightly, it just doesn't look as impressive. It looks a little bit messy. So there's the first coat there. I'll give you a look. Probably wait a good 10 minutes or so for it to dry in between doing each coat, but that's what the first one looks like. I'm a little bit outside the lines, but that's not a problem. I'll be able to fix that up later. And I'm going to let that dry. So while my mica paint is drying, I'm going to take the opportunity to fill up these little cookie cutter soap molds that I made with my resin tape. I'm going to use a combination of white and clear soap base because I want my soap to be opaque, but I also want it to be able to be a bold color, to take on a bold color when I use my soap colorings. So I'm using a 20% white to a 80% clear soap base combination. And I'm also doing 4 different colors. So if I follow that sort of mixture for each of the colors, they'll all come out looking the same sort of level of opaqueness, and they'll come out looking nice and even. So that's why I'm doing that. First off, I am making a yellow. I've put in some lemon essential oil, and I'm also adding a couple of drops of yellow pigment. My daughter there is stirring the soap for me. She's very helpful. Because it's a kid's soap, I'm actually going to add a little bit of glitter, some bio glitter there. It's just fun. I just like it. You just need sort of the end of a bamboo skewer is sort of all I put in there. That's plenty because it tends to sink to the bottom, so you don't want too much in your soap. Once you've mixed in all your fragrance, your coloring and your glitter, and you're happy that it's mixed well, take your isopropyl alcohol and make sure that you've got it ready to spray any bubbles on the surface and start pouring. So how much soap base to use to fill up these sort of oddly shaped cookie cutters? I actually made a video. There's the previous video that I did in the stamped soap challenge explains all of that. I'll put a link in the description of this video. I actually prefer to overfill my molds, which is what you can see me doing here. I sort of fill them all the way to the top, give them a spray with the alcohol to get rid of the bubbles, and then sort of just keep filling them until they're sort of bulging. a little bit at the top. But that means later on I can just slice any of that overfill off with a knife and get a nice clean surface. So I like to do that. Okay, the next color I'm doing is green, which will be scented with Eucalyptus essential oil. Again, I'm going to add the glitter. So just dipping the skewer in. It is a teeny tiny amount, but it's really all you need. My daughter is doing the stirring for me in this shot while I add all the colors and the fragrance and the glitter. She's being very helpful. She's also spraying my alcohol for me too. So, and that's just some sort of easy jobs that you can get the kids to do if the kids want to help out with the soap making. It's always lots of fun to have someone to do it along with you. So here I am here. I like to just pour a teeny tiny bit in the bottom and then spray that with alcohol just to make sure there's no bubbles on the surface. And then I fill up the little makeshift soap mold the rest of the way to overflowing if at all possible. I try not to spray it at the end because that can make it overflow, but I think these two are overflowing anyway. Yeah, they are. But that's okay. Doesn't matter if they overflow. We'll be able to clean that up later. Okay, next is blue. This has been scented with mint essential oil. Again, it's got glitter in it as well. As I said before, the colors that I'm picking here, they're actually the colors of the Super Mario text in the Super Mario logo. So the last one is red, so yellow, green, blue, and red. This one is scented with Geranium essential oil. And once these are finished, I'm going to set them aside to harden. Not for too long. I like to try and stamp them as soon as they're set, because the longer you leave melt and pour soap, the harder it gets. So if you wait too long, it can be tricky. And while you're waiting for those soaps to set, it's the perfect time to get on with the next step of these round soap bars. So it's time to give them a clean up. I'm going to use this clean, dry rag. These have had 2 coats now, and they've also had time to dry. And once they're fully dried, you just take a dry rag and just buff off any of the mica that's outside of the lines and sitting on the surface of the soap. And then you're just left with the mica that's stuck in the grooves of the soap. You can also take some cotton buds or Q-tips, whatever you call them where you're from, and use them to clean up some of the finer details. You can see there's still plenty of mica coming off on the surface of that Q-tip, especially if you have any sort of narrow areas or areas that have sort of been indented by the stamp where you don't want that mica to be. The Q-tips can be very helpful. Just cleaning up here around this Goomba and the star. And once that you are satisfied that you have removed all that surface mica, then we can start pouring the second layers of these soaps. There they are. How great do those look? They came out really well. All right, so I'm going to do these one of every different color, the same colors that I used previously, so yellow, green, blue, red. Again, I'm doing the 20-80 ratio of clear and white soap base, and I've just set these up here because I'm doing 4 different colors. I've just set up 4 different little measuring cups here. I've weighed it out already just for the ease of this tutorial, just so we can move quickly. This one here is going to be yellow. Again, I'm adding my lemon essential oil. I'm just going to use the same scents and fragrances that I used before. Again, a little drop of bio glitter. A quick stir, because this I'm only using a teeny tiny amount of soap here. So this is the same amount of soap that I did for the clear layer. So I'm just doing the second half of this soap here. As I said, I have fragranced this layer, so the soap will have a fragrance, even though I didn't fragrance the clear. If you fragrance the second layer of the soap, because the soap sort of worn away evenly all around the bar, that fragrance will remain until the end of the soap. When I spray it with the alcohol, my daughter sprays it with the alcohol, I'm just covering the soap next to it so that the mica doesn't get wet, because if the mica gets wet it can smudge when you pour the soap on top. So that's why I'm holding my hand there to protect the next soap. I'm also using a spoon for these more complicated designs here, just to make sure that the soap isn't poured directly onto a line of mica, because again that could just lead to some smudging, which I just want to avoid. But all in all, it was a very quick process doing those 4 colors, and now I'm going to put them aside to set. Now back to these. They haven't taken too long to set at all because they're quite small soaps. You can remove your tape now and also trim off any of the excess that's sticking out over the top, like I mentioned before, just to give you a really nice flat finish on the back of your soap. So again, just slicing that off very easily there, and that messy part comes away, and we've got this beautiful both-sided now, nice and smooth, that soap there. If you haven't got enough to cut off, that's fine. If it looks fine, just go with it. If you're worried about it, you can actually maybe push a little bit of the soap through the cookie cutter and then slice a little sliver off that way. But either way, it's totally flexible, which is what I love about it. You can clean them up or leave them as they are. I know some soaps, like the one I'm using, tend to wrinkle a lot, while other soap bases don't. It really just depends on the ingredients and how they're made. But yeah, this gives you the opportunity just to give them a clean up, make them look super perfect. I'm a bit of a perfectionist. I like them to be super perfect. So here we go. All that excess that just sort of spilled over the side there, I just took that off with the tape. It doesn't stick to the tape or the cookie cutter at all. It just comes away very easily. So yeah, it doesn't take much to tidy these up at all. And once I've done this last one here, they'll be ready for stamping, which I'm pretty much going to be doing exactly the same way as I've done it so far. I will match up each cookie stamp with its cookie cutter. I'm leaving the soap in the cookie cutter to do the stamping. It's just the easiest way to do it. And again, I will need a hammer. The hammer that I'm using has got a really small head. It's like a small headed hammer, and it's just so great for basically getting the force in the right spot on the surface of these cookie stamps and making sure that I get a nice even imprint. So again, I'm just pushing that in with my fingers first just to get it in the position that I want it to be in, and then I'm giving it a decent tap with my hammer all the way around and even on top of the handle sometimes, or close to the handle, yeah, just to make sure that it's imprinted nice and evenly. There is a fair bit of resistance from the soap. There we go, there's a beautiful sunny Mario face. Gotta love that. If you take a look and you find that you're not happy with some areas that aren't imprinted as deeply as others, just replace your cookie cutter, make sure you get it in exactly the same spot, and give it another hammer. And then you can take it out, have a look again once you're happy with it. If you need to stamp it again, you can. Okay, so once you're happy with it, use the cookie stamp to push the soap bar out of the cookie cutter. I always replace the cookie stamp when I do this because I don't want big thumbprints in the center of my freshly stamped soap. And then you can remove the stamp afterwards, and you've got this great shaped soap with an embossed pattern or embossed image on the front. And they're just so cute. I know the yellow's a bit hard to see because it's such a light color. I've got a lot of light coming down on here, but in real life that embossing is much clearer. You can see it quite easily. It's a bit faint here just because of all the light, but it's a really good impression, and the stamps look really, really cool. So there's my star. Moving on to my green ones now. Hopefully I get a nice cute little green Goomba. Yep, there he is. And I'm pushing him out. Look at that. Fantastic. And I'll go Mario. Give it a decent stamp. I love that you can check how you're going. It's not like, oh, you can't check and then you have to do it and then you pull it away to reveal that it's, you know, not done properly. If it's not right, replace the stamp, make sure it's in the right spot, which is quite easy to do, and give it another hammer. And that way these will come out perfect every single time, which again is what I'm looking for, because I like perfect. Well, and also, I mean, you don't want to go to all the trouble of making these soaps, this being your party favors, thinking of your guests and planning all this out, only to have them being ruined at the last minute. So it's really good to know that whatever goes wrong, you know, if you've got a yucky bottom, you can slice it off. If you haven't stamped it well enough to begin with, you can stamp it again. And it's just really good to know that these are going to come out fantastic no matter what happens. It's also time for the grand reveal of these round soap bars here. So I'm just going to pop them out. They're fully set. There we go. There's our star. How cute is that? And we've got our blue Goomba. He's looking cute too. And the red mushroom. Oh, so lovely. And our green Mario. How cool is that? So that star as well, that's just sort of being distorted by the curved edges of the soap. That star is actually quite a good imprint. There we go. Just spray them with some alcohol so you can clearly see what they'll look like when they're wet, when you're using them in the bath or shower. And that's pretty cool. Gotta love that. Okay, so here is our collection of Super Mario soap party favors. And I gotta say, I'm loving how they're looking. But you can't just hand someone a greasy bar of soap on their way out the door of a party. We need to find some way of packaging these up so they're looking the best that they can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get some cellophane bags for these little ones here. I just picked these ones up from my local discount store. It's a self-sealing one here. You just peel back this plastic and then you can seal the bag to itself. So I'm going to place one of my little soaps in here, just like this, and seal them up inside his little cellophane bag. And then I've also made up some bag toppers to go on top of the bag. I just created these myself. I used Microsoft Word and grabbed a picture of Mario off the internet. And so what I've done is I've created these little bag toppers. It just says Super Mario on one side, and then it's got a happy birthday message on the other side. It says that it's a glycerin soap bar, and I've just left a space where I can write the scent. Then on the other side, I've put all of the ingredients, which I think is a really good idea. If you're going to give someone some soap, you really need to include the ingredients that you've given them. You might want to put the ingredients maybe on the reverse side of this so it's viewable from the outside. Maybe then you can put your birthday message on the inside, but either way it has to be somewhere, I feel, even though you're just giving them as a gift. So I've also got a little stapler here, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my little bag topper that's been folded over, and I'm just going to staple it to the little cellophane bag that I've put my soap in. So now I've taken a little soap bar, which really wasn't suitable to hand to anybody by itself, and I've packaged it up in a way where I've included the ingredients, and I've also put a little message on there so people know that it is a party favor. And now, I've got pink staples in this stapler, which don't really match the Super Mario very well. I'm just going to swap them out for some plain silver ones. Oh, I've got all sorts of fun stationery. But yeah, there we go. Pink staples, that's fine. But like I said, I've got my little soaps now that have been properly labeled. I know in some places it is the law, in some places it isn't the law. Certainly if you are selling a soap, you need to label it up with ingredients. I'm not selling these are just for personal use. But even then, I still prefer to put the ingredient list on, whether it's required by law or not. I just think it's the smart thing to do. And you know, the proper thing to do for your guests. So here we are. Here we've got 2 that I've done, packaged up in their little bags. The ingredients are on the inside, or again, you can print them on the outside if you want. And that is much more suitable as a party favor. So again, with these ones here, you could also find a bag that fit them and do exactly as I did with the other ones. But I am going to do something different. I'm going to take a piece of cling film and my isopropyl alcohol, and I'm going to wrap my soap bar very tightly in the cling film. I'm just pushing away any of the bubbles that are on the surface there down the side, and I'm going to scrunch it at the back and turn it just so the cling film gets pulled really tight around the soap. There we go. And once you've done that, just cut off with some scissors any of the bulk cling film that you've got left, and get yourself a sticker. So now this is just a generic made with love sticker. What I would recommend, I've just got these for the video because I need to stick something on there, but if I were going to do a party, I'd actually make my own round stickers. Again, you can pop a birthday message on there, you can pop the ingredients on there, you can buy circular stickers out there, or you can have them printed by someone, or you could even cut them. If you've got a Cricut, you could cut them up yourself. Make yourself a nice round label and put it on the back of the soap. And again, this is a really great way to label up around soap. It makes the image in the soap come out nice and clear because you've sprayed that alcohol on it and the cling film pulled taut. Oh, that cling film split. Sorry, I'll have to do that one again. It's just a great finish on a nice clear glycerin bar of soap, and it's just bringing these out beautifully. So that's a way you could wrap up the round ones as well. So here we go. I've wrapped up. I've just done 6 because I only had 6 labels and I didn't really want to print anymore, but you get the gist. I have done this before. I did some of these for my son's birthday last year. See, I put Geranium on the back where it says sent. I sent my son off to school with some of these in lieu of cupcakes. You know how you make enough cupcakes to give to the class? Well, everybody in my son's class last year for his birthday got a little Super Mario soap, and they were a big hit. So yeah, here's just a recommendation on how you can finish them off to give away to your party guests. I think they look pretty cool and the kids just love them. So like I said, here is a picture of some of the ones I made last year for my son's class. I actually have a couple of these left over. Nobody wanted the yellow ones for some reason. So these are 9 months old. I made these 9 months ago. They're still sitting here in their little baggies. There's no sweating. They're still in great condition. The packaging is still in great condition. So you can see how, hardy packaging them up this way is. So here they are, all packed up and ready for the party. I really hope you enjoyed watching me make these Super Mario soap party favors today. I think these days soap party favors are a great alternative, especially with all the food allergies that are going around. If you love what I do, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Enjoy!